First Blood. Welcome back to First Blood Speed Reviews. So today, Grim Dawn from GOG. Does it work? Yeah, it works perfectly fine straight from the install. There are a lot of video options that you can go through and change. It pretty much has all the graphical settings that you could ever hope for to help make the game run on your computer. So I would imagine for the most part, a lot of people will be able to run this game relatively well. Okay, so Grim Dawn plays like most action RPGs on computer, with mouse and keyboard. As far as tutorials go, it's pretty much just tooltips that are going to appear as you find new items or encounter new enemies or level up for the first time. Basically, the first time you do anything, you're going to get some kind of tooltip, but that's as far as it goes, which is great because that way you're not stuck watching video tutorials. You can literally just skip it if you want. There's no scripted anything in the beginning of the game. You are in the starting town and then you go out and you're in the first zone and you're killing stuff, and that's it. And that's how it should be. So already it's off to a good start. So you choose to be male or female, and then it's up to you to choose what class you want to play as, and you pretty much will choose by allocating skill points into a class. And then if you want, you can allocate skill points into a second class. Now you don't have to do this, but it's a good way to give your character either a more well-rounded character, or maybe support a flaw, or just add to an overwhelmingly strong trait to begin with. Now, there's something very innovative in Grim Dawn's gameplay that they basically call it a soft targeting system. So originally, if you clicked on an enemy or breakable object, your character would run over and attack it, or you would have to hold down shift or some other key so that you could make your character not move. Well, they sort of combined that, so basically wherever your mouse cursor is, that's where your character is going to attack or move. This is actually a huge deal because it now allows you to effectively dodge enemy attacks. You can literally just hold down the left mouse button and scroll around, and your character will spin in place and kill enemies, or run away or move. And before I get into the rest of the gameplay stuff, I do want to point out that Grim Dawn is 99.9% controller compatible. It's really awkward at first, but if you just stick with it and you practice it, you can do everything with controller except for one thing. So you can't use the option menu. For whatever reason, the mouse control disappears. Now, I really liked playing ranged classes with the controller. You could map out a lot of skills onto a lot of buttons and rapidly throw them out and aim pretty well, and then it felt like I had a faster reaction time for dodging things. But that being said, I really found myself using the mouse a lot because all the menu systems and stuff, it's just easier to use the mouse. Many of the gameplay elements that you would expect to find in an action RPG are present in Grim Dawn. Your items are separated out by rarity. You fight regular monsters, and then of course there's champion monsters and boss monsters. The bosses are differentiated for you because they have a little star above their heads, which is distracting, and I didn't like it at first, but you pretty much start to ignore it eventually. You have a waypoint system. Good news is you are able to create your own town portals whenever you want, and the portals actually stay. Even if you die, your whatever town portal thing you created is still going to be there. And the way death is handled is really similar to Diablo 2. So pretty much the only thing that happens when you die is you get sent back to town and you lose some experience. But you can go back to where you died and you'll have a tombstone, and the tombstone you can claim back some of your experience that you lose. The leveling system is very similar to Titan Quest. So you have a dual class system, and you get basically a few stat points when you level up, and then you get skill points. You get 3 skill points to level up your class, which allows you to unlock new skills and also boosts all your recommended statistics, or allocate skill points to passive skills, active skills, or buffs. And then each skill has multiple levels for the most part, and you don't need to do multiple classes, but you're allowed to create a dual class character. So in other words, you're allowed to have access to 2 of the skill trees out of the 6. And then finally, there's the alternate advancement system in the game, which is what's called devotion points. And these devotion points are gained from desecrated shrines you're going to find scattered and hidden throughout the game world. So at most there are 50, so you can get 50 points. Now, this devotion system is actually where the game really actually shines, because you'll unlock what's called celestial skills, and these celestial skills are basically super procs that you can either assign to active skills, or there's super procs that happen when your character gets hit or things like that. And then the celestial skills themselves level up with use and become even more powerful. So by the end of the game, you create just a total monster character. And then finally, there's actually a surprising faction mechanic game, and it's not only good factions with like towns, but also bad factions with enemies. And as you level your factions up, certain things will happen in the game. So you'll begin to fight special, more powerful monsters that wouldn't normally spawn, or you'll unlock new items in the faction vendor. Then you also get access to bounties, which pretty much allow you to fight special boss monsters that will be randomly spawned in the game. A salvage system and a surprisingly robust MMO style crafting system also become available as you unlock it through the story. So the game plays amazingly well. Most of my complaints with the game are very minor, such as things like the English voice acting sometimes is kind of subpar. There are some MMO style kind of like fetch grind quests, which I'm not a big fan of in a single player game. It wasn't really a big deal with Grim Dawn because most of those quests I already had collected all the items I needed to begin with just from running around and killing stuff, so it really wasn't a problem, but it's just there. That brings me to my major complaint, which is the quests. So you have your main quests, which obviously progress the story, but a bunch of side quests that you sort of have to do because they unlock a lot of the features you want in your town, like crafting, the blacksmith, or breaking apart weapons to save your components, which are basically like gems, like socketed gems. So if you don't actually do those side quests, you won't have those features. I had rescued like one person and had just ignored the side quest from a main character that I'd already dealt with for a long time, only to find out that when I actually did the side quest, it unlocked the ability to salvage things from my inventory. Honestly, that should have just been a main quest component, not some random side quest, because you could literally, if you wanted to, play through the whole game and not unlock that feature. And then one final thing is a few of the major quest steps are very vague. Some of the main quests can be a little confusing as to where you need to go. So I was just expecting the quest log to actually have all of that in it. Even in older action RPGs that had these style of quests, like Diablo 2, it at least told you what zone you had to go through to get to the next part. Alright, well, with quest things aside, overall, after my first taste of blood with Grim Dawn, I effing love this game. This game is everything I've ever wanted in an action RPG, and it's just so well done and so polished that it's really hard to find anything wrong with it. I highly suggest it to anyone that even remotely enjoys action RPGs. I can't see how anyone would ever be disappointed by this game. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check out the links in the description if you want to help support me. I'll see you next time.